We are at Hands On Horology. Now let's see who can pick the best 3-watch collection for under £5,000. Okay, so for this challenge, I am going head to head with Tom, one of the founders of Oracle Time. Are you feeling confident, Tom?
I'm feeling pretty confident. I have the home advantage. We picked the brands, curated the brands, so I should know their collections best.
Yeah.
But then again, it's down to personal taste. And as long as someone doesn't cheat, it's all good.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll let the audience decide as well, so it's really down to them. But I think I've got my work cut out for me, but let the best Tom win. Okay, so we are picking 3 watches for under £5,000, but there's a couple of other additional rules that I want to add in. So we need to have at least one watch that's under £1,000 as a good entry level, and at least one that's over £2,000 as a wow factor. So everything else in between that, we can do what we like. I think there's going to be a lot of choice for under £1,000 here at the show. There's Christopher Ward, there's Bowcroft, but I'm going to go and look at Brew to start with, because I think they're going to be a good shout. Okay, so this is my first pick, my entry-level watch, and we are sitting very comfortably below £1,000. This is £350 as you see it today on this beautiful, lovely plush suede strap. This is the Brew Metric Retro Dial. It's got a Seiko Mecha Quartz movement. It is 36mm in diameter, but because of the squared-off case design, it wears a bit bigger than that. I think this is just perfect proportions in a kind of everyday, cool, funky watch. It's the right amount of fun. I also love coffee, so I love the branding. I don't think that Tom's going to have found something that's as cool as this and so affordable as well.
So for my accessible pick, coming in at £450 is the Nodus Sector 2 Field FDE. Now that FDE essentially means it is completely suited to match the Earth in terms of its colorway. So it's a military term, and that kind of backs up what this watch is all about. It has this Cerakote finish. At its core, the watch is a titanium, grade 2 titanium case. It's then coated in this Cerakote finish to give it this toughness, the durability, the matte effect, and a completely unique look. There's not many brands out there that do this, and I think Nodus was one of the first, so it's really unique. In terms of the design, obviously it has a very sort of military, rugged aesthetic that you essentially want to be putting it on, go climbing a mountain, going into the desert, doing some hiking, that sort of style. And I think it's just a watch that you can basically rely on for a long time. It has a Seiko workhorse movement inside, really good value for your money, and I think it's a great pick for that first accessible watch choice. I feel pretty confident. I don't think Tom can beat this one, I've got to be honest. I think it's a pretty strong pick. I think the only thing that might put him ahead is the fact it is a very unique colorway. They also do it in a canopy green and a blue, so there are choices. I personally really like this earthy tone, but I'm pretty confident in my pick.
So this is my mid-tier pick. And when I tell you the complications that this watch has, you're not going to believe the price of it. This is the, and I'm practicing my pronunciation on Duolingo, Venezianico Arsenale Calendario. I don't know if that was right, but hopefully it is. This is a 40mm watch that is under 10mm thick, and yet it has a power reserve, a day, a month, a date, and a day-night indicator. It is not only beautiful, it is incredibly functional. I don't know how they managed to fit this many complications in a watch this small. The bracelet feels incredible, the case design is lovely, the chamfers are sharp and tight. It's a beautiful watch. And if you'd have told me this cost around 30,000 euros, I probably would have believed you. But get this, this is 1,200 euros, 1,200 euros. It is ridiculous for the price. I absolutely love this piece. And this maroon dial color, I'm in love with this watch. I doubt that Tom will have found a watch with this many complications for anywhere near this kind of money.
So for my mid-tier pick, I've picked the new Cerakote 5330 dive chronometer. Now, the slightly controversial thing about the watch is the fact it has this date window on the dive watch, which some people don't like it. I personally think they've managed to integrate it brilliantly into this design. If you look very closely, the date window actually cross-sects the minute track just in the same way as the indexes do at the 9 o'clock position. So I think they've integrated the design brilliantly. It has also this very cool matte dial. It has a new cleaner bezel, so it doesn't have the countdown timer on. It's just really a very cool minimalist looking watch. And the fact they never use their logo also just kind of gives you that vibe that they don't need to shout about what they're doing. They're a brand that is sort of self-assured, and I love that. Obviously, the real cool thing about this watch also is the fact it's super wearable on this elastic strap. Obviously, it's white with this red stripe, which perfectly matches the date window. And I just think it's a lesson in really clean design.
Okay, so this is my premium pick. This is the Vulcane Heritage Monopusher chronograph. I wanted a complication, and it's even cooler than just a chronograph because it's a monopusher. You can't get cooler than a monopusher. This is a 39mm case. It's 13mm thick, so you've got those nice slim vintage proportions. It's got a Salita manual arm movement in it, so this is going to be reliable and easily serviced, unlike actual vintage watches. It's the green dial for me. I just love this kind of sunbursty green, pistachio-y light green color. And the subdials have been gear shaded as well in the circular pattern, so there's some nice contrast. It's very easily readable with the black text and the black hands. I just think this is old school cool, but it's completely modern, so this watch is going to be reliable and accurate. For £2,600, you can't go wrong with this. This is phenomenal.
So for my top end pick, I've picked a watch which I don't think Tom can compete with. It's this Sartori Billard SB10 Jump Hour. Now, the cool thing about this watch is the fact that you can bespoke it. So the standard model comes in at £3,500, including taxes. But when you change elements such as the case material, the dial, the numerals, it does come in a little bit more, but I think this standard version is very cool. You have obviously a jump hour movement, which is a Le Jour Paré movement with 55 hours of power reserve. The case is a super wearable 39.5mm. In this model, we have it in steel, but obviously you can bespoke that. And paired with this rubber strap, it just really wears incredibly on the wrist. Sartori Billard do some incredibly cool watches, and the fact that you can bespoke them and create something really unique, I think is what you look for when you're creating that sort of top end of your collection. So I think it really fits the bill, and I don't think it's something that Tom can compete with.
Okay, so I have my 3 watches and I love every single one of them, but I've done a quick bit of maths and I've got £850 left to spend of my £5,000 budget, which means that I might be able to get myself a Christopher Ward, and that should give me the edge to beat Tom in this competition. Okay, I'm definitely breaking the rules because I've managed to squeeze a 4th watch into my budget. Andrew has just confirmed for me that this exact watch, as you see it here, is £850 to the penny. So this is the Sealander automatic 39mm from Christopher Ward. It's the new updated series. The previous watch was great, but this to me feels like a huge step up. It's got the Salita Power Plus movement, so accuracy and power reserve are boosted over the previous model. It's 39mm, has a white dial, super luminova, time and date. It's all the watch you could ever need. And I feel like for an everyday, daily piece on this leather strap, you can't beat it. And it fits my budget. Well, there we have it. Tom, how'd you find that?
Yeah, I think I did pretty well overall. I got obviously the field watch in the Nodus, the dive watch for the Serica, and something a little bit more haute horology with the jump hour from Sartori Billard. I think overall, a very well-rounded collection.
Yeah, sounds like it. So I cheated slightly and picked 4 watches. I had my Christopher Ward at the end, I had my Venezianico, I had my Brew, and I had the Vulcane. So I feel like there's a lot of variation in that collection. But make sure to comment down below who you think won this challenge. If you'd like to find out more about hands-on horology and come next year, then use the link in the description. And make sure to subscribe to WatchGecko for plenty more videos just like this one.